Nanea Chapter 17. Aloha's at the dock. Easy, Maylie, Nanea warned as her dog sniffed at the lays on her bed. Those are for Donna and her mom. The call had come yesterday when the girls were having their pictures taken. Donna and her mom were leaving today. Maylie tucked her muzzle between her front paws, her brown eyes full of sadness. Papa appeared in the doorway. "We need to leave," he said gently. The trunk of Papa's car was loaded with some of the Hill's belongings to deliver to the ship. "I'm coming." Nanea carefully picked up each of the 4 leis she'd made. "Auntie Rosie would be proud of these," Papa said. "They're beautiful." "They are full of aloha," Nanea said softly, "and Auntie says that's what counts." On the porch, Nanea put on her rubber slippers. "Ready?" Mom asked, pulling on her good hat. "Well, the leis are ready," Nanea answered, "but I'm not." Tears stung her eyes again. Mom brought her close for a hug. "I know this is tough for you." She kissed Nanea's forehead. "But it takes more than an ocean to separate good friends." Nanea climbed in the back seat and Papa drove up the block, stopping in front of the Suda's house. Lily came running out, carrying a package, and slid into the back with Nanea. "Oh, those are beautiful," Lily said, admiring the leis in Nanea's lap. "That's beautiful, too." The box Lily held was exquisitely wrapped in pink paper. With Japanese gift-giving, the outside of a present was almost more important than the inside. Lily patted her package. "I made a frame out of popsicle sticks and painted island flowers, jasmine and hibiscus, and wild ginger all around the edges." She pantomimed using a painting brush. "I thought Donna could use it for the photo your dad took of the 3 of us last night." Nanea nodded. Their families had gathered for one last meal with the Hills. When Papa took the picture, Nanea had forced a smile. She didn't want to feel too sad when she looked at her snapshot later. At the pier, Nanea and Lily stood out of the car. "I hope we can find Donna and her parents," Lily said. "We have to," Nanea insisted as crowds of people pushed past them. A flash of pink caught her attention. "A bubble! There!" She dragged Lily along. "Donna! Donna!" she called. The 3 kittens ran to one another while the adults scurried to keep up. Seeing Donna in her best dress with socks and black patent Mary Janes made Nanea too shy to speak for a moment, when Donna snapped her gum, breaking the awkwardness. Underneath the fancy clothes was still the same old Donna. Lily presented her gift. "This is so you never forget us." Her voice was full of emotion. "You can open it on the ship." "These are for you, too." Nanea slipped one lei over Donna's head, and Miss Hill bent down to accept hers. "The heavenly smell of the islands." Mrs. Hill's words were happy, but her face was sad. "Mahalo." She hugged both girls, and then stepped away with Mr. Hill to talk to Nanea's parents. Donna looked over at her father. "I don't know when I'll get to see my dad again," she said. Lily grabbed her hand. "It really hurts to have a puka in your family." "I know, but it's not forever." Donna sniffled. "I'm just worried about him." "We'll take care of him," Lily assured Donna. Nanea agreed. "We'll invite him to supper. He's part of our ohana." Donna gave a wobbly smile. "You 2 are the best." "Thank you." "Don't forget these," Nanea said. She gave Donna the 2 remaining leis. "Mom and I will throw them overboard," Donna promised, "so that we'll come back." The boat horn blasted 3 times. "Time to go," called Mrs. Hill. The 3 best friends couldn't bear to look one another. Then Nanea put out her pinky. Lily and Donna stuck theirs out too. "Kittens forever," Nanea said. "Pinky swear," they all said in unison. Though Nanea had promised herself she wouldn't cry, the tears that had been building up all morning broke through. Matching tear trails trickled down her friends' faces. Mr. Hill knelt down and gave Donna a long, long hug. Then he stood up and pulled out his handkerchief. "Come on, dear." Mrs. Hill took Donna's hand. She started for the line of soldiers who were guarding the entrance to the dock. No one, not even Mr. Hill, could go any further unless they had a ticket to board. "We'll wave till the ship is out of sight," Lily called. "Until our arms fall off," Nanea shouted. Donna and her mother climbed the steps to the pier and disappeared. Nanea and Lily waited, peering through the fencing. They searched the top deck of the ship where Donna said she would be. "There she is!" Nanea finally called. "She's throwing her lei overboard," Lily added. Donna's lei drifted down from the ship's rail and landed with a small splash in the water. It bobbed along with the currents. The white plumeria shimmered like pearls on the waves. Nanea watched as the lei floated back to shore, longing with her whole heart for the day that Donna, too, will return to their beautiful island. The end.